Hey everybody, D-Style Boxing, late night again. Thanks to those that are joining me live. And for those that will be joining me on archive, let's talk a little bit about big knockout boxing. You've seen it. I mean, DirecTV is getting behind it. They're putting it on pay-per-view for everybody. You know, I get it, and I understand because of the hype it's had and because of how you could watch one of those events and say to yourself, this is the future, this is what I want in boxing. And I could understand it. you know I see where that comes from. And I get it, but I'm not a fan. I'm not saying I can't be entertained by a BKB boxing fight, because it's very similar to the sport we already have, right? There's nothing I've seen in BKB that makes me say, man, thank God that fight was in that ring, literally a ring, in the pit, or whatever they call it. Thank God it was there, and not in a boxing ring, squared circle. I've never seen one of those fights and said to myself, "Thank God, it's a blessing that they did this shit in the pit." Because you know what BKB does, you know what it does to me. It feels, first of all, it feels cheap to me. It feels cheap. Now, a lot of people are going to say, yeah, "Come on, man, what do you mean it feels cheap to you? What do you mean by that?" It almost feels like we're telling ourselves our sport sucks and we need to change it. That's basically what BKB does, right? It's almost like saying boxing is boring. Let's take out everything that's boring about boxing and let's create this product. That's what it represents to me. Not that I'm threatened by it. I don't think it's going to go far. To be honest with you, I don't think it's going to go pretty far. But it's there nonetheless right now. And a lot of fans are hyped up about it. I mean, it's called big knockout boxing. If anything, I think it's misguided. I mean, a lot of these matchups would have been good fights in a boxing ring. It's all smoke and mirrors to me. I'm just being honest. Now, but let's talk about this. Let's talk about whether or not the pit. Let's just call it the pit. I think that's what they call it, but it is better suited for prize fighting, for boxing, for fist fighting. It's better suited for that than the boxing ring. It's a no contest. It's not even close. It's not even close. The boxing ring that we have today, the traditional boxing ring, evolved into what it is today. Right? It wasn't something somebody just thought in the back of their head and like, you know what? You know what would be great? If we did this. I don't you see what I mean? The boxing ring that we have today is the perfect partner for the sport of boxing. That this feels like BKB to me. It's like, and let's talk boxing, right? Let's say boxing was the man that has been married to this faithful woman all these years, right? and the boxing ring has been with boxing for over 100 years, has faithfully been by boxing's side. And then he decides to go after maybe a younger, hipper looking, better looking girl because it just looks better. Look, it looks cool. I get it. It's a pit and it's a circle and there's not a lot of room to move. Oh my God. The boxing ring is not that big. Like, it's just not that big. I mean, I get that people think it's like this big thing. It's not that big, guys. I don't know how many of you have actually been in a boxing ring. It's not that big. You know, it's not. A lot of these fighters are real good at movements, so it appears to be a huge freaking ring, right? Now, I'll be the first one to say that it's not perfect, but nothing is, right? This pit in BKB, I don't see it producing the classic fights we've had in boxing. I don't. I just don't see it producing a Castillo Corrales. I don't see it producing Gotti Ward, Barrera Morales. I don't see BKB producing these type of fights. It gives you a higher rate of probability of seeing a knockout as well. That's all it gives you. That's it. I love the ropes. I don't get so no ropes. Like, they're promoting it like no ropes. There's no ropes. Like, what do you mean there's no ropes? Do you all realize the amazing things that we've had in boxing because of the ropes? I mean, the rope-a-dope, right? There's no rope-a-dope without the ropes, right? There isn't. Ali cannot create that strategy in BKB. You know what I mean? That's not going to happen. Even in fights that people like Gotti Ward, there was a round where Gotti was being held up by nothing but the ropes. Okay? And he was against the ropes and he was taking punishment. And because of the ropes, Gotti was able to come back. That created a level of excitement that you're not going to get in BKB. The ropes is part of what makes boxing. You're not going to get Ricky Hatton getting check left hooked and running his face into a corner in BKB because there's no corner. You know, it's insane to me. You know, that one's random, but I'm just saying. A fighter being against the ropes and another fighter having him trapped in the ropes while he swings at him. I mean, that's one of the most exciting things about boxing. And you're going to, like, just take it away? Like, if it's a bad thing? Are you serious right now? That's insane to me. All because you want to increase the probability of a knockout. You know, it's insane. You know, I just don't understand. You see, and I get what people are saying, but it's like stupid. It's like, yeah, this is where the brawlers are going to fight and BKB because you can't run, right? The funny part about it is, right, like, they're putting all the brawlers in there. Like, the fight would just be just as exciting, if not even better, in a boxing ring. You know, like you could always have the brawlers just fight brawlers. Like, I don't get, well, why not just do like brawling boxing where we only get brawlers fighting or something? I don't know, right? I mean, the boxing ring is designed to fit every type of style. Every type of style can fight in a boxing ring, and there's a way for them to win. There's no favoring anybody. This whole idea of, well, the current boxing ring, It favors the outboxer. Says who? Says who? Who said that? That's not true. It doesn't favor anybody. The boxing ring is neutral. Okay? It has its space, and you fight in that space. If you happen to get beat, you get beat. The only arena that's giving anybody an advantage is BKB pit. Okay? It's literally designed. The boxing ring that we have today was not designed to benefit an outboxer. Nobody said, you know what? I want a ring that's going to benefit guys who fight on the outside. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. The pit was created for that purpose, right? The boxing ring we have today is neutral. It's for every type of style. I can name you every type of style that has succeeded. Hall of Famers in boxing today and in the past. From Roberto Duran, right? Julio Cesar Chavez, right? Those guys were very successful in the ring we have today. Like, well, why do you got to change it? It's like a cheap way to avoid a certain style. That's all it is, man. I just don't it's almost like admitting defeat. We can't beat this one style, so we're just gonna make up our own shit over here. I just no. You are destroying the sport. I mean, Matisse Provodnikov's gonna be a great fight, and it's gonna be in a boxing ring, and the ropes are probably gonna play a pretty big role in that fight. I mean, it was Lennox Lewis bouncing off the ropes and Rockman catching him and knocking him out because of that momentum that caused that moment. I just don't understand why they want to get rid of the ropes, man. I don't get why they're trying to get rid of the square ring. I don't get it. And I don't get what the big fuss is about. I mean, the fights were pretty good, I guess, right? But it wasn't something that I saw that was wow. I got to stop watching boxing in a boxing ring. I honestly, I doubt this. I doubt there will ever be a fight in BKB that you will say to yourself, that fight, you got to put that amongst the 50 best fights of all time. Not 10, forget that. Not 20, 50. I honestly doubt you're going to see a fight in BKB that you're going to say to yourself, that fight, that's one of the best fights I've ever seen. Top 50 all time. I honestly doubt it. That boxing ring we got today was designed for boxing. It was designed for fist fighting. The ropes were, all that was by design. It was designed that way for a reason. Don't mess with the way it's designed. Leave it alone. I just don't get it. For the life of me, I don't get it. Right? Let's invent this whole new way of fighting, this pit. You're getting rid of too much shit. Yes, I'll admit, for the last time, it's designed to increase the probability of there being a knockout. Okay, but the last BKB didn't even have any knockouts that I remember. And that Stevens fight with Rosado was a pretty good fight, but if it was in a boxing ring for 10, 12 rounds, we may have a winner. And it would have been a better fight. So why didn't they just fight in a boxing ring? It's stupid. And then it's dumb, man. It's just dumb. Marquez and Vasquez, they didn't need the BKB pit, and had some great fights. And the ropes played a big role in those fights. And Morales Barrera fights, the ropes, they used the ropes at times. Pacquiao Cotto, like those first 6 rounds, Pacquiao used the ropes against Cotto. Like, I mean, seriously, like this shit's insane. We're gonna get rid of the ropes. You're gonna get rid of the ropes. That's stupid. Honestly, like I saw a commercial like no ropes. Like they're trying to promote it like it's badass. Like we got no ropes. No ropes. Like, what do you mean no ropes? Are you shitting me? I mean, let's look at all the classic fights that you could think of, right? And put the scenario in a BKB scenario, okay? Ali versus Foreman. Foreman probably knocks out Ali like in the first round or two in a BKB format, right? I mean, that's it. No dramatic moment, no classic fight. Done, right? Castillo Corrales. I don't see the scenario of Corrales like hurting Castillo being against the ropes and then knocking him out. Like, and then before that, getting knocked down twice. I just don't see that scenario playing out in a BKB pit. Like, it's almost impossible for that to happen. All right? Like I just don't see it happen. All right? I mean, Gotti Ward. The fight would have been, stopped so many times in a BKB scenario. It would have not gone the full 10 rounds. Ali, wow. Gotti is not a Hall of Famer if he fought under the BKB. It doesn't happen. Mickey Ward, who was in a lot of great fights, used the ropes in a lot of his fights to tire out his opponents. And those were exciting fights. And you're going to get rid of the ropes. You're going to get rid of the design. Because why? Because in boxing, the boxing ring that's designed for all types of fighters. Look, in boxing, for any style, there's a way to fight that style. The boxing ring is neutral. Okay? It's a neutral setting. It's not made to favor anybody. I just don't understand. I don't understand the hype. It's like we're saying to ourselves, the sport we've loved for like the last 100 years, not us personally, we're not that old, right? But the sport that we've loved, that your father loved, that your grandfather loved, and so on and so forth, was never good enough. It was never good enough. It was all stupid. They were fighting the stupid boxing ring. The pit. Now that's how you do it. It's stupid.